A very good afternoon to all the students of class 10. Today I'm going to take on the Ball poem written by John Berryman from your first flight. Well, first we introduce the poet to you. So John Berryman was an American poet and scholar. He is best known for the Dream Songs, which he wrote in 1969, which was a sequence of many poems, about 385 poems, for which he also won the Pulitzer Prize. And he also has the National Book Award to his credit. Now, the Ball poem, as the title suggests, the ball, that it has something to do with the ball. So just a little brief introduction to the poem. This poem is a psychological study of man's reaction to some material loss that he experiences in life. The first incident of material loss can be very, very shocking, very traumatic, but gradually man does learn to get over that shock and learns to live with it and learns to survive after that. So we can say that just as joy and sorrow, gains and losses, they are a part and parcel of life. Life is a roller coaster, okay? So highs and lows, ups and downs, joys and sorrows, they are all a part and parcel of life. So we should not brood too much over a loss. We should try to get over it. We should try to overcome it because life has to move on. So the big message is of letting go, to let go of something. You can't hold on to something no matter how dear it is to you. You have to let go and you have to move on in life in advance. You can't make your life come to a standstill with the loss of anything, be it a material loss or be it a loss in the form of your loved near and dear ones who are snatched away by the hands of death. So loss is irreparable, of course, and no amount of money can actually, replace that thing that you have lost. So in this, we have a soulful poem of a little boy who's very, very happy, and you know how children are very attached to their toys. So this boy is seen playing with a ball. And maybe it's his favorite toy and he enjoys himself playing with that ball. So as he's playing, so when he's playing with the ball, it just slipped from his hands and it bounced and went rolling down, bouncing happily, merrily. It seemed as if the ball was very, very happy while it was bouncing, and then it goes down the street and down the lane, and finally the boy is not able to catch hold of it and it lands itself in the harbor. And it goes into the water. So this boy, his initial reaction is, of course, great shock, great grief, because the ball was very, very dear to him. But then he stands stupefied over there. He's transfixed. He just doesn't know what to do. But I mean, there are ways and means of coming out of it. So slowly and gradually, he learns a big lesson for life. And that is that you have to bear with any kind of loss that comes your way. So now it's a small little incident, but it is bringing home a huge message for everybody that you have to let go of things and you have to move on in life and you have to learn to accept loss in any form. So I will read the poem line by line and explain it side by side. Okay, the poem. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? Okay, now first two lines. What is the boy now? You can see the poem is beginning with a question. And the poet wonders that what this boy will do now. Now the first line says, what is the boy now? Now means that the boy had been playing with the ball. Now this has been said after the ball has rolled down merrily and gone into the water. So the poet says, what is the boy now? Now, what is the reaction of the boy? What is he going to feel about it? How is he going to take this? Who has lost his ball? What is he to do? Emphasis is laid by the repetition of the word what. What is he to do? What will he do now? What will be his reaction? How will he take it? Now, this is also a figure of speech over here, which is an alliteration, the repetition of the consonant W. What is he to do? So, the poet wonders with that question and that question mark, he wonders what the boy now will do. I saw it go merrily bouncing. So, the poet has seen the ball merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. So, it bounced and bounced, jumped and jumped. You know how a ball bounces. So, it went down and finally merrily over. And over, there's a little hyphen over there. So, that means from the street, from that lane, it finally landed. There it is in the water. So, an imagery has been created, an image through words. You can visualize the ball bouncing down through the across the street and finally landing in the water. There it is in the water. There's an exclamation mark that finally, the ball went and fell into the water. Okay. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. Now, there is no use to say, oh, there are other balls. Okay. This means that there are other balls means that the ball has gone in. So, it's a materialistic thing over here, the ball. So, even if it has gone, there are other balls. That means the loss is not so significant. But there are other connotations in this poem given to the ball. The ball is a symbol of various things, which I will gradually do with you. No use to say, oh, there are other balls, that it's not such a significant loss, so not to brood over it. Then the other thing is, the ball may have been very, very dear to the boy, and you have a sentimental value attached to things. No matter, the ball that is lost must have been so dear to him, and he must have played with the ball ever since and was attached to the ball, was very, very attached to the ball. So even if you replace it with other balls, the other balls will not have the same meaning for this boy as this particular ball did. Even if you give him other balls, he will not, attach himself to those new balls, and there will not be a sense of belonging. So over here, no use to say, oh, there are other balls, and an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. Ultimate means extreme, utmost. Grief, shaking grief. The grief, the shock, the sorrow is of such a great magnitude that the child is transfixed to the ground. He's stupefied. He does not know how to react. He's just standing there in despair. And to see that he has lost the ball. The ball has gone into the water, and it will be very difficult for him to bring back that ball. So he knows that it is a permanent loss, that he will not be able to bring back the ball. So he is gripped by fear. Okay. And there is a mood of melancholy, sadness, sorrow, grief at the loss of this ball. Something fixes the boy means something that it is very hard to come out of, Fixes the boy, grips the boy, or something, a situation from which it will be very difficult for the boy to come out. As he stands rigid, he's standing there stiff, okay, rigid, stiff, trembling because maybe that fear and that thing of losing the ball and the shock is so great. It's so traumatic for the boy. Staring down, he is looking at the water and he has seen his ball going into the water. All his young days into the harbor. Now, all his young days, this is associated with the ball. Now, all his young days means his childhood memories. His childhood memories all that he had played around, had a good time in his childhood, and he played with the ball and the loss of the ball over here. So all his happy memories, his childhood memories, have been taken away with the ball going into the water. Now here there could be another connotation. That means the child is growing up now. So it could be the loss of childhood also. As he steps into, maybe he becomes a teenager, he's growing up. So it is all the end of his happy young days, the end of his childhood. As he sees his ball going into the harbor. Harbor is a place where ships come to take shelter, where they are docked, okay? A place on the coast. His ball went into, all his young days into the harbor, his ball went. So the ball is associated over here as a symbol of childhood. So with the ball going into the water, symbolizing that it is the loss of childhood for the boy. And all his happy memories that he was attached to the ball, everything has gone into the water with the ball. I would not intrude on him. Now the poet is watching all this. So the first thought that, he's introspecting, what should he do? So he says, I would not intrude on him. I will not go and intrude. I will not go and present myself. Like going uninvited or being unwelcomed over there, or to intrude on his thoughts. What reaction is going through in his mind. So the poet does not want to barge in or be of any kind of inconvenience to the boy. He does not intrude on him. Intrude on his thoughts. A dime, another ball is worthless. Then another thought comes to his mind, that giving him a little bit of money where he could go and buy a ball. And then another ball is worthless. So giving him some amount of money so that he could go and buy another ball, that is worthless. That is useless. It does not make any sense. Why? Because two reasons. One is because he has, he's learning a very, very important lesson in life. So no other ball could replace that ball. There are other balls, but that particular ball could not be replaced. So the poet in the depth is trying to say that when you lose something, there is no other substitute for that. There is no replacement for that, okay? And money, dime, which is associated with money, currency. Now, money cannot buy everything, okay? Like if somebody passes away, you lose your near and dear ones, you cannot bring back that person with money. No, it's impossible. A materialistic object, maybe yes, that you can. But greater losses in form of a being, in form of your loved ones, money cannot buy you everything. Okay, a dime, another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. So through this ball rolling down into the water, this boy is experiencing a very important lesson for his lifetime, and that is the lesson of responsibility. That you have to rise to the occasion, you have to be responsible with your things, okay? You have to shoulder responsibility in many ways and not just brood over and cry over things that you lose. So first, responsibility. So it's a big lesson for life. A transformation sets in after you go through such experiences. In a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always. Now, as I told you, this ball is a symbol. So just as above I said that the ball over here symbolizes his childhood. Now, over here in these lines, in a world of possessions, possessions are all things that you possess or that you have in your physical custody, okay? That you have in your physical custody that belong to you. So in a world of possessions, people will take this materialistic world that we live in. You will come across people who will take balls, who will take away something that is dear to you, who will snatch things from you. Literally not snatching, but take it away in some form of the other. There is so much of cutthroatism. There is so much of hatred. There's so much of malice. And in this competition to reach the top level, you can even trample the people below you. I mean, for some people, the end is justified by the means. So that is equivalent to snatching of things. So in a materialistic world, you will come across people who will take balls, who will take away your things. And balls will be lost, and sometimes you have to lose so much, knowingly or unknowingly, and how things happen. You do face losses in life. Losses could be in the form of failure, losses could be in the form of your loved ones, your near and dear ones, your other, maybe your position or your wealth. There are so many connotations to it. So balls will be lost always, little boy. So this is a message that the boy is experiencing with the loss of the ball. And with this, he's learning a lesson for a lifetime of responsibility, that you have to act or behave in a very responsible manner. You cannot break down completely. You just cannot cry and sob and end your life. No, you have to bear that loss. You have to stand up and you have to move on. You have to let go of things and not brood over it. So here also, with this, he is learning the important lesson that in this materialistic world that we are living in today, there will be people who will take away your things, your position, your money and everything, and balls will be lost, and you might lose things in many forms. So you will have to learn. So the boy will, balls will be lost always, little boy. So this is a part and parcel of growing up. Losing out on things will be, and losing out on people will be a part and parcel, and this will always happen throughout life. So he addresses him as a little boy because this is the first time that he is experiencing, and this incident has really shaken him up, but gradually he will come out of it. A transformation will take place and he will come out of it. And no one buys a ball back. Now here, buys a ball. There is an alliteration over here, BB. Okay, figure of speech, alliteration. And no one buys a ball back. I mean, you cannot replace everything that you lose. You have to learn to accept to carry on in life without those things. Some things are irreplaceable. You cannot replace them. Money is external. You know, money, as I told you, cannot buy everything, and money cannot give you back the things that are very, very dear to you, you know. So that is external. He is learning. Learning means learning a lesson. Well, behind his desperate eyes, the epistemology of loss. What lesson is he learning? He's learning that loss, he's getting the knowledge of loss. And that loss is a part and parcel of life, and you have to bear that loss. How to stand up? You have to bear the loss, and stand up in life means to move on in life. You cannot break down. You cannot end yourself. You cannot bring an end to your life like this, brooding, crying, and, crying over things that you have lost. So you have to stand up. You have to rise and you have to move on. You have to make yourself strong. Knowing what every man must one day know. So everybody has to learn this lesson. Every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. So gradually, with the experience, with life moving on, and the boy finally emerging as a man, he will definitely by that time learn to accept loss, to let go, and to move on in life. It is very, very important. So, responsibilities, yes, I mean, to look after your belongings, to look after your things, but, to be attached and detached at the same time. It's a very, very important message. Like we say, in Hindi, we call it like, moh maya ke jaal mein phas ke reh jana, So, the best thing is to be attached. Yes, you have to carry on with worldly affairs in life, but at the same time, learn to be detached also. So that when you have to bear huge losses, you are able to accept that. And grief doesn't overpower you. You are not finished. You are not ruined. Your life is not ruined. But it learns to carry on. Time is a great healer, as we say. And we have to learn to accept these losses. And most know many days how to stand up. Okay. So here we could then again say that the ball again symbolizes materialistic things also, objects, and also symbolizes your loved ones, your family, your near and dear ones, because death is inevitable. Okay, the ball going into the water means the end of the ball. The boy will not be able to retrieve that ball from that water. So similarly, over here also we say that the family, or death is inevitable, it has to come. So we have to accept that loss, accept it gracefully, and it's a harsh reality or the bitter truth of life, and we must learn to accept things and move on and carry on with our lives, because there can be no replacement for your loved ones, your near and dear ones. So yes, you're possessive about your things. I mean, it's a good thing you're possessive, but then you can't be so possessive that you don't have the heart to let go. You can't let go. So you have to be magnanimous in life. You have to be large-hearted. You have to sometimes hand over things to somebody out of love, out of concern, out of compassion. So not be so self-centered at that point of time, but accept loss, even if you have to give it and you have to bear that loss. I mean, it is very magnanimous, okay? So this small, simple object, the ball, has so many connotations. The ball symbolizes the loss of childhood, and the ball symbolizes the materialistic possession. The ball symbolizes the loss of your near and dear ones, because we said, excuse me, because we said that nobody is, immortal. In life, we have to accept our mortality, the mortality of a human being. So, if we accept things gracefully, it is easier to get over that loss. But if we shatter ourselves completely, then things begin to really take its toll on our own lives. And we create misery not only for ourselves, but also for others around. So, this is it's a soulful poem. And we have seen in this poem that the repetition of the word ball has been done very frequently, loss of ball. So it is loss of possessions and loss of your near and dear ones, and learn how to overcome this loss and come out of the grief easily. Now this poem does not have any rhyme pattern. It is written in blank verse or free verse. And this message, the theme of the poem of getting over any loss and overcoming any loss gracefully, is very, very important, especially today in this contemporary world. You know how the world is today. It's all about me, I, me, mine kind of a thing. So, in order to be able to live a peaceful life, one has to understand this big responsibility of let go. You can't hang over things, you can't brood over things that you have lost, and you can't keep things under your control completely, because that's the way the world goes. We have to be magnanimous. We have to learn to accept loss and move on in life. Okay, I would like to do the question and answers with you. Okay. Okay, so maybe when the realization of all this comes to the boy, he'll come running back and leave the ball in the water. Why does the poet say, I would not intrude on him, intrude on his thoughts, go and, try to disturb the boy? Why doesn't he offer him money to buy another ball? The poet wants the boy should realize himself and learn that important lesson for a lifetime, that gains and losses are a part of life. You can't hold on to something permanently. Sometime or the other, that thing will leave us so that has to be accepted. So he does not want to interfere. He does not want to intrude on his thoughts or interfere with the boy's ruminations, his thought process. And he does not even want to offer him money to buy another ball, because ultimately the truth is that money cannot buy everything. Okay. So the ball in the initial stage is linked with his childhood. Do you agree? Yes. The ball is linked with the boy, and it's been with the boy since his childhood, and he must have had a very sentimental value, a real attachment with that ball. And because it is linked with the memories of his childhood when he played with it. Okay. What does in the world of possessions mean? It means the materialistic world of objects, the various things that give us comfort and luxury. And these are only external things, but it's not that without this we will die, but the things, we have to accept that we can, lose out on these things in life, okay? Do you think the boy has lost anything earlier? Pick out the words that suggest the answer. No, I don't think so. The boy has lost anything earlier, because the words or the line, he senses first responsibility, suggests the answer. That this is the first time he is learning a lesson, and that also of responsibility. The first responsibility, that suggests the answer. Next question. What does the poet say the boy is learning from the loss of the ball? The poet says that the boy is learning a very important lesson from the loss of the ball, and that is to learn or to learn how to put up with the material loss when things just leave you, or they are not a part of your life any longer. So you have to learn to accept that loss, and you have to learn to live without that loss. And once things that are lost, they are lost forever. And it is futile to grieve over them. It's, there's no point in crying, brooding, and spoiling your present because of something that you have lost. This is the harsh reality of life, and one should actually realize it. And, things that are gone once never come back. Okay. Next question is, what is the significance of the phrase all his young days? All his young days symbolizes his childhood, okay? When he was thinking, he was in deep thought. When he was thinking very deeply, when he saw the ball going into the water, then although it came back in a flashback, all his childhood memories associated with it and everything, and the mental concentration that he was, at that time thinking about, when he must have gone back into a flashback, and while he was staring at his ball in the water. What is that? Every man must one day know. Every man must know that gain and loss is a part and parcel of human life. We should accept them as an everyday thing or as a common matter, and not unduly brood over it and worry over it and, make your lives miserable. What idea does the poet want to convey in this poem? The poet wants that we should not be unduly grieved over the loss of material things. He knows that gains and losses are a part and parcel of life. And even as a huge irreparable loss of your near and dear ones who will be taken away by the hands of death, crying, lamenting over that thing will never bring them back. So we have to accept that life has to move on, and this is the harsh reality of life, that we will lose out on our loved ones one day. Okay. He senses first responsibility. What responsibility is referred to here? The responsibility referred to here is the realization of the fact, same thing, repetition, that gains and losses are a part and parcel of life, and we have to face them. So we have to accept them, take it in our stride, and move on in life. We have to let go. Even the trees, they shed their leaves, you know, they have to let go. So once they let go, the old ones, only then the new ones will come, you know. So life has to move on. Nature also teaches us the important message to let go. Okay. Last question. What is the boy learning and what should every man must one day know? So, the boy losing his ball, which went into the water, there's so much of grief that he's, you know, trembling, shaking, gripped with grief, and, you know, his body becomes very stiff and rigid. Yes, it is the case when you bear loss with great shock and with great disbelief. You just can't believe it that such a thing has happened. And this is the valuable learning that took place for the child, and it is not only for that boy, it is for everyone. He's learning from this incident his first important lesson for a lifetime, how to put up with the loss of material things. And that one has to always, you know, be prepared that these things, losses is a part and parcel of life, and we cannot, you know, be transfixed, or we cannot stop our life at that moment. It has to go on, and we should not brood over it or worry unnecessarily and make our lives miserable. Another factor is that even though we have so much of money, so we should realize that at times money cannot buy everything. It's an external thing, and yes, we do agree that money makes the mare go. If you have money, you can, you know, indulge in all the luxuries and comforts of the world. So money can, it's so commonly said, money can buy you bed, can buy you a bed, but it cannot buy you sleep. Okay. You know, you may have a lot of money, you're a millionaire, a billionaire, but if you have a very fatal illness or a disease, you know, yes, you do spend a lot of money, but ultimately it cannot buy life. So we have to bear with the loss of things. So this is a very, very important lesson for a lifetime for all of us, to accept gains and losses and, you know, face them bravely and get over them. It takes time, yes, because after all, we are human beings. We are disturbed by all these things. It's very easy to say and difficult to actually practice it. To preach is easy, but then we have to have that at the back of our mind, because if we keep crying, if we keep brooding over it, and if we are in that grief, then we will never be able to live life in its true way. So that is the lesson that we get from this small poem, but very meaningful and an important lesson for a lifetime. I hope you understood the text, and the question answers will be able to help you all. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you all.